morning. So I'm currently heading off to the open ensemble call. As you can see, it's very dark and not great for filming. I'm late leaving, surprisingly. Who's surprised? I'm always late leaving. So I'm gonna get there at 7:38. So I was messaging one of my friends and she said that if you're there by 7:30, it'll probably be okay in terms of getting seen. So I might not get seen. I haven't done any hair or makeup. I'm gonna do that on the train. I've had breakfast, got dressed and left the house, which took me 45 minutes, which is quite impressive for me. I got up at 5:30. So this is going to be my first Royal Caribbean open call audition. Several people went to them in third year, but I didn't, partly because of having to wake up so early to get in the queue and then queue outside for hours in the cold, and perhaps partly because of the fact I didn't like missing college. But I've decided to finally go, and today I'm kind of going for fun actually. You may be thinking, why is it fun to wake up at 5:30 and go and stand outside a building for 2 and a bit hours? And that is a question I was also asking myself last night when I hadn't got to bed until like maybe 11:30 or 11 o'clock. But the audition today is for Cats, and I really love the original choreography for Cats. I don't even think there's a very big chance that I will get to do the original choreography today, because A, I don't know if they do the original choreography in the audition, and B, I think Royal Caribbean do an across the floor combination and then they do a cut. And listen, I have strengths, but across the floor combinations is not one of them. And I think the chances of me getting cut after an across the floor combination are quite high. But that's fine. I'm also going to kind of see what they're like, and just because I feel like I should go, now I'm a graduate, I feel like I should go and try and audition for things. And I haven't been to a dance audition in maybe like a couple of months, so I think it will be good for me to go to a dance audition, and if nothing else, it's a free class. If I get seen, that is, because I've left late, so I might not get seen at all. In which case, it will be a fun adventure to London. So come with me and enjoy. Made it to Tottenham Road. My hair looked better in my head than it did when I looked in the window. Now let's go see how long this queue is. I'm still very tired, but it's starting to get light outside, which is nice. I'm wondering what to do about the toilet, because I think people just normally go and use like prep toilets or something, but then people normally go in groups, so someone can hold their place in the queue while they go to the toilet. But I'm on my own, so that might be a bit of an issue. Okay, I just popped into a random cafe, primarily so that I could use the toilet, but I bought a bottle of water to do so. Guess how much it cost? Like $1.85 or $1.95 or something like that. So much. It's only like 500ml. Anyway, let's go see how long this queue is. I reckon I'm going to see 11 people I know today. That's my guess. Okay, the audition stuff. It was fun, I enjoyed it. I did get cut, but I will give you a proper debrief later. Hello, I'm now back, and I wanted to give you a little debrief. In fact, I'm actually back and I've had a nap because I was tired. So I know I didn't do a very good job of vlogging, so I wanted to explain what happened during the day. So I went round to the door to Pineapple. Like, if you're looking at the Pineapple door, people were queuing up the right hand side, and then it kind of went over onto the other side of the street and people were queuing up there, and then there were a few people queuing up on the left hand side at the top of the street. And so I asked the girl on the end if that was the end of the line, and she said yeah, but there was people around the corner as well, but she wasn't sure why they were there. So I sat down there, and then after I sat down there for a little bit, I began to think, maybe I should be at the end of the other line around the corner, because no one else was coming to join my line. So I stuck my head around the corner, and there were about 20 people around there, and I was like, maybe I should have joined over there, but I wasn't sure. So I waited, but in the end I decided to move and go and join the other bit of the line, because I felt bad if I was cutting in. So I moved and I went and sat on the end of the line around the corner, and then 2 girls from college were actually the next 2 people to join me in the line. So that was nice. I was sitting next to 2 people I knew. I got to Pineapple at maybe like 7:05. I popped into like a coffee shop on the way and just bought a bottle of water, thinking that would be the cheapest thing. I didn't even look at prices. I bought a bottle of water just so that I could use the toilet on the way, although I did end up sitting next to friends in the queue, so I probably could have just gone to Pret at that point. And people in the queue were really nice, and I feel like there's quite an established queuing system, so people were just like to their neighbour, oh, do you mind watching my stuff while I go to the toilet or go and get something, or whatever they were going to do. So I think I probably got there, maybe it was like 7:35, maybe I moved at like 10 to 8. The next people in the queue came to join join me at 8 o'clock. But I was talking to people who had done these auditions before, and they were like, this was quite an empty one in terms of like the number of people queuing. Sometimes it's like round the corner of the next corner of the building. So I think I got lucky with that. But some people showed up at like 9 o'clock or even closer to registration, and they still got seen. And registration was at 9:30. So I think I could have gone a bit later. And I think if I go to another one, I probably will try and get there for maybe 8 or half 8 and try that. So we waited in the queue, and then maybe like 20 past 9, 25 past 9, the queue moved down and we collected our numbers outside. They sent us up to one of the studios where we put down our bags. And then when we were in the studio, they said, can these lot of numbers come back at 11:15 to do the audition at 11:30, and can these lot come back at 11:45 to do the audition at 12. So we were in the 11:45 group. There were actually several other people that I knew from LSC by this point. I think there was a group of like 6 of us, and so we went and sat in a Nero for a couple of hours, and then when it came to like 11:30, we headed back to Pineapple, went up to the little holding room, and people started warming up. We pinned on our numbers, and then they called us to go to the audition room, and I think the other group were in there. There were 2 doors to the studio, so they got us into the corridor and then they let them out that door and let us in this door, which worked quite well as a system actually, because anyone who's been to Pineapple knows it has narrow corridors and narrow staircases. So I think we were in the top floor studio, which I've never been up to before. It's quite big up there. We did the audition, which was a corner combination, balletic-ish. I had seen a video of it beforehand. When we were in the queue, someone showed me a video of what they were expecting it to be. I think Royal tend to use the same corner combinations, and so there's videos of them online, or people have sent other people videos. So I'd seen that it was going to involve a lot of turning. And I think it was helpful for me to know that that was what was going to come, just to mentally prepare myself, because I think I tend to psych myself out if there's something with a lot of changes of direction, because I know that's something I struggle with. So they taught us the combination, and then after they taught us the combination, we danced it in bigger groups. I think there were maybe 8 groups of maybe about 8 of us, which meant there were like 64 in the audition. Is that likely? No, I don't think that is likely. Maybe there were 6 groups of 8 and there were like 48 in the audition. That sounds a little bit more plausible. So we danced the combination in a big group just to give us like a chance to do it, which did not go well for me. I kind of had forgotten the combination. And then we queued up in our number order, and they saw us 2 at a time, and they were very like organized with how they did that. So they were like, right, I want the higher number person standing here, and there was like a little tape mark on the floor, and the lower number person standing here of each of the 2s, and like we'll count you in. So I did my audition, I did the combination across the floor in 2s. I'm actually pretty pleased with how it went. I mean, I'm not surprised they cut me at all, but I think I pretty much remembered the combination, which is a massive win for me, because picking up things is like my biggest nemesis when it comes to dance. Was it messy? Was I potentially slightly behind with some of the moves that I did because I was thinking about it? Maybe. And do I have any idea whether that turn was a single or a double? No, I don't. So yes, it was probably messy. Yes, I was probably slightly behind and not facing the right direction and falling out of things, but I didn't forget the general gist of the combination, which has happened quite a lot in my life. So I'm quite happy with that. And also I was the slightly in front person. When I saw that, I was like, oh great, I'm gonna be the slightly in front person, which meant I felt more exposed. But I was like, no, it's okay, like I've got to do it anyway. And actually it was probably better for me because I wasn't so tempted to copy the other girl I was dancing with because she was standing behind me. There was a mirror in front, but like I wasn't so tempted to copy because I was standing in front. But yeah, I'm quite pleased. I didn't psych myself out too much. So we did the combination across the floor. We just did it once, and then one of the guys asked to see 3 of the girls again, and then they sent us all out into the corridor while they had a little bit of a deliberation, and then they called us back in and they said that they would read out the numbers of the people that were staying, and everyone else was good to go. So my number was not read out, so I was good to go. So I went back to the holding room, packed up my stuff, headed home, and here I am. Yeah, so that is my update. I hope you've enjoyed. Please subscribe for more performing arts related videos, and thank you very much for watching. Bye!